The Huawei Mate 40 Pro is the world's first Android smartphone to incorporate 5nm process node technology within its new high silicon Kirin 9000 5G chipset, and today it's going head to head in a speed test against the old faithful Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra with a Snapdragon 865 Plus processing chip. Both of them have LPDDR5 RAM, though the Huawei has 8 gigs of it, the Samsung has 12, and they both have UFS 3.1 storage. We have updated them to their latest available software, both Android 10, and we have 90Hz refresh rate on the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 120 on the Note 20 Ultra. We're going to be running very similar Full HD resolution on both devices, and we're going to be enabling high performance mode on both of them as well. Also making sure that all the apps that we do use in the speed test are not allowed to do any sort of battery optimization to be killed in the background, and we're going to leave all animation scales enabled. Round 1 will be about boot, fingerprint and face unlock. Round 2 will be initial opening app speed, and round 3 will be all about RAM management. I'm using my fingers over here, so we're going to pop GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner for accuracy. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to start here in round 1 with a simple boot to see which one can power on the fastest, and it is indeed allocated to the Mate 40 Pro here with 22.5 seconds, but just 0.5 seconds quicker than that of the Note 20 Ultra with 23 seconds. Going into the actual devices themselves, the Mate 40 Pro picks up at second point, loading the app icons a lot quicker than the Note 20 Ultra via, so a well-deserved point that time around. And now we're going to test out the optical fingerprint sensor underneath the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to the ultrasonic one underneath the screen of the Note 20 Ultra. We're looking at when the wallpaper gets shown, not so much the actual app icons. We're not looking at the animation, but the actual speed of the fingerprint sensor, and it is indeed allocated to the Mate 40 Pro every single time over there, picking up its third point. Same thing with facial recognition. The Huawei Mate 40 Pro is faster every single time, and it's very interesting because the Mate 40 Pro actually has secure 3D face unlock, getting its fourth and final point in round 1 as opposed to 0 on the Note 20 Ultra. Making sure we hook to the same Wi-Fi network, max brightness, performance mode is enabled, and all apps are closed in the background. We're going to start with our first app here, which is indeed the settings app, which the Mate 40 Pro gets its first point in round 2 with. Going into our next system app, which is indeed calculator, jumping into that one, once again a hair of a second quicker, the Mate 40 Pro that time around, picking up its second point. But stick with me guys, it gets really interesting later on. And the third system app that we have here is indeed the camera app. Jumping into that one, the Note 20 Ultra was slightly quicker in opening it up, and flipping to the selfie camera. For some strange reason, the Mate 40 Pro always shifts to the portrait mode in this respect, even with AI off, and it flips to it quicker and takes the snap quicker than the Note 20 Ultra, now with 4 points as opposed to the one on the Note 20 Ultra. However, the Note 20 Ultra quickly grabs its second point going into the Photos app quicker, and its third point after opening up the actual picture we just took quicker over there. Going into Photoshop Express, which one can open up this third-party app slightly quicker, it is indeed the Note 20 Ultra. And going to the photo, it is indeed the Note 20 Ultra, now surpassing the Mate 40 Pro. Like I said, getting quite interesting. Now we're going to go ahead and save this to gallery using the UFS 3.1 storage on both devices. It was too close to call over there, so no point was allocated that time around. Going into Adobe Premiere Rush over here, a video editing app, the Note 20 Ultra picks up its 6th point going into the app. However, the Mate 40 Pro opens up the project slightly quicker, getting at its 5th point, now just one behind the Note 20 Ultra, which is indeed rocking 7nm plus tech, where the Huawei is rocking 5nm. Now we're going to export this 4K clip, drop it down to 1080p, match the frame rate of 25 FPS, and we got 12 seconds on the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 19.5 on the Note 20 Ultra. Now it is neck and neck, 6 points apiece, but the Note 20 Ultra quickly strikes back, picking up its 7th point after opening up Spotify and music streaming app slightly quicker than that of the Mate 40 Pro. Going into Astral VPN, since we need one here in China, the Mate 40 Pro opens it up a lot quicker than the Note 20 Ultra that time around, but they turn it on at a relative time over there. Going into Google Chrome, it's interesting to see that the non-Google centric Mate 40 Pro actually opened it up quicker than the Note 20 Ultra, now surpassing it with its 8th point. Going into Facebook, the Note 20 Ultra actually opened it up quicker, but the Mate 40 Pro loaded the page quicker, so no point was allocated over there. So 1 point lead for the Mate 40 Pro so far, but matching that now the Note 20 Ultra after opening up Instagram slightly faster, now with 8 points as well. Next social media app is indeed Twitter, and jumping into that one of them opened it up quicker, the other one loaded the page slightly faster, so no point was allocated. Going into YouTube this time around, it was indeed the Mate 40 Pro opening it up and loading the page quicker as well, now taking the lead with 9 points. Now since we can't log into our Google account on the Huawei, we have to search for me this time around, and jumping into TechNick, into that search engine, we got the Note 20 Ultra picking up its 9th point over there, and going into my actual profile, the Note 20 Ultra picked up its 10th, now taking the the lead once more. It's a real toss around here. Once again, now with the Mate 40 Pro tying things up with 10 points after opening up one of my videos quicker and loading the entire page quicker and playing the video quicker as well. It's 10 for 10 so far, both with double digits, and the next app is indeed Netflix. Jumping into that one, the Mate 40 Pro opens it up quicker, but which one can load the entire page quicker? It is indeed the Note 20 Ultra after going into my profile, so 11 apiece once more. First benchmark app that we have here is indeed Geekbench 5. It was too close to call when opening up the app. We're going to speed things up. Bottom right hand corner, I'll let you guys know the seconds at the end. We did it in 2 minutes 38 seconds for the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to a whopping 2 minute 53.5 seconds on the Note 20 Ultra. We're focusing on speed here, not so much score, but the Mate 40 Pro did indeed do a better job in single and multi-core score over here with over 1,000 points for single, which is great. Next benchmark app that we have is 3D Mark, and we're going to be testing out wildlife over here. And going into it, the Note 20 Ultra actually opened it up quicker, but the Mate 40 Pro loaded the entire page quicker, so no point was allocated once more. Just a 1 point lead so far for the Mate 40 Pro. And going into this one, it should be pretty interesting since this benchmark test actually tests out frames per second. A second quicker on the Mate 40 Pro, picking up its 13th points over here, but a much better score, over 6,000 as opposed to just over 4,000 on the Note 20 Ultra. And the Note 20 Ultra got like 25 FPS, where the Mate 40 Pro got about 38 frames per second. Going into our first game over here, which is indeed Subway Surfers, the Mate 40 Pro picks up its 14th point in round 2. I actually had to backtrack the app since the latest version of the game couldn't actually run on the Mate 40 Pro, so I had to quickly install the old version on the Note 20 Ultra. Going into Temple Run 2, however, same version over here, just like we had with Subway Surfers, but the latest version, the Note 20 Ultra surprised me over there, opening that one up quicker, now just 2 points behind that of the Mate 40 Pro. Going into Among Us, an awesome game, 15 points for the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 12 for the Note 20 Ultra after the Mate 40 Pro opened Among Us slightly quicker. And going into our last game, last app of the 20 over here, which is indeed PUBG Mobile. Which one can take the cake over here? It is indeed the Note 20 Ultra, very surprising, 16.5 seconds, a second slower is indeed the Mate 40 Pro, now wrapping up round 2 with 15 points for the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 13 on the Note 20 Ultra. When it comes to RAM management, we do have less RAM on the Mate 40 Pro, but it kept Adobe Rush open, where the Samsung killed it with its 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM. Remember that the Mate 40 Pro does indeed have LPDDR5 RAM. It's not so much about the amount. I think 8 gigs is actually the sweet spot. It's more so about the actual module within the system, and that is why they're keeping the rest of the apps open nice and snug over here. Total score we'll be jumping into in a second, and that is indeed 20 points to the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 13 on the Note 20 Ultra. But if we just take into account round 2, which focuses on speed performance, we got 15 points for the Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 13 on the Note 20 Ultra, so not much of a big difference between 5nm and 7nm plus. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it. A sub to the channel would really be epic. This is TechNick, and I'll see you in the next one.